Let's do something different for this episode. Now, people who know me personally also know that I run a separate YouTube channel called Manila Sentinel. And that particular channel highlights my passion for survival, shooting, and other outdoor adventure stuff. Now, what does that have to do with what we're going to talk about today? Well, during the days of film, as a traveling photojournalist, I always had some sort of a survival kit with me. Literally, you can consider this a survival kit in that it had all the necessary tools for me to get by in a single working day or when I'm out of town or away from an urban area. Back in the day, I used to do assignments in remote areas and I had to sort of camp out, not necessarily under the stars, but sometimes it was a shanty or literally out in a wasteland like in the Lahar stricken areas of northern and central Luzon. I had to sleep under the stars, literally. So, in this particular presentation, let's talk about the stuff that I have in my pockets that have nothing to do with photography and everything to do with personal survival. Now, one item I will never be without is a good knife, like a pocket knife. Mainly, I carry a pocket knife for utilitarian purposes. It's good for mainly for food preps and cutting stuff. I have an option of bringing something like a locking folder like this, but mostly I will be with a good Swiss Army knife like this Victorinox Waiter. Now, it goes without saying that a Swiss Army knife is the original multi-tool and it has hundreds if not thousands of uses. Now, I chose this particular model simply because it has a corkscrew, which came in handy back in the days when diplomatic engagements, parties with expats where wine was always served, which is why the corkscrew is quite a useful item. Other than that, you have the usual main blade, which is good for cutting cheese and ham. And of course, you had a cap lifter and can opener, which can also double as an emergency fork for hors d'oeuvres and all those good stuff. So I'm never without a Swiss Army knife. The next item I was never without, even back in the day, is a good flashlight. Now, technology has come a really long way, and these days, flashlights are really small. Back in the day, the double A flashlights were really huge and cumbersome to carry. Now, why did I carry? How did I learn to carry a flashlight? I carried a flashlight back in the day because I like to do a lot of night shooting. And when you shoot at night with a mechanical camera, you needed something to see your dials, and a lighter was never a good choice. So we had to have a flashlight of some sort. So let's say I was doing night photography with a mechanical film camera. I needed something to see the dials on top, check my lens settings, my aperture and focus settings, and all that good stuff. So a flashlight is really important. Even nowadays, when I still like to do some night shooting, it's obvious that you'll be needing a flashlight for when you set things up. Of course, people can say, oh, I got my smartphone. But then again, when you use the flashlight on a smartphone, it doubles your battery consumption. And, it's stupid to use a smartphone as a flashlight. Might as well use something as small as this as a proper flashlight, and you have more control over it rather than just the smartphone. Now, what I'm showing you right now are EDC or everyday carry items, and the stuff that I'm sharing with you right now, I absolutely have on me every day. And continuing with the tools, I have with me, of course, a pen to jot down notes, and along with that pen, a tickler or a notebook with my cards and plastic, And inside this kit, I also have boo-boo first aid stuff. So for minor cuts and scratches, I have antiseptic wipes and band-aids. Next item in this everyday carry pouch, a cigarette lighter. Now, even if you don't smoke, it's a good idea to have a cigarette lighter with you for whatever purpose it may serve. Of course, it can serve as an emergency light, but I don't recommend that you use your cigarette lighter near any of your electronic items. And lastly, on this pouch is a length of paracord so I can tie or string stuff. It's always nice to have a piece of cordage to secure things. You never know what you might need them for. I can use them as an emergency water bottle carrier or something to tie my tripod or tie my microphone up to a tree or something. It's all limited by your imagination. So this is a practice that photojournalists practiced back in the day, and it's still popular these days because photojournalists find themselves everywhere doing most everything, and basically they need survival stuff to get by in their line of work. It's not a 9 to 5 job, so if you get thrown into a location in a particular assignment, there's no telling what time you're coming home or when you're coming back. So we had to have with us stuff that will help us get by in the event that we're away from an urban area, away from a store, a convenience store, or so we had to have stuff on us that basically will help us survive. Now, the next set of items covers your meals. And one of the tools that I carry with me is a spork because there's so many occasions where we would be handed packed lunches and the plastic spoons, the plastic utensils that came with those pre-packed lunches or snacks were usually too flimsy, which is why a sturdy metal spork is nice to have when you're really hungry. And in addition to the eating stuff, everyone carries a water bottle with them. Very few actually carry a drinking cup. This cup has saved me during a lot of coffee breaks when there's not enough paper cups or styrofoam cups to go around. So it's also nice to have your own cup with you for that emergency cup of coffee in the field. And if you don't have a stir, this is the perfect match. And continuing with the survival items, I have an actual pocket-sized survival kit. Now you can find the details in my Manila Sentinel video, which I'll link above. And it contains basic stuff, but one thing in this survival kit that has been quite useful for me, especially as a photographer, is the button compass. Now, I won't necessarily need this compass for navigation, but what it does for me is find where the sun will rise or set, especially when I'm doing location work, a beautiful landscape or something. Then a pocket compass will help me tell which way the sun is going to rise or set, and therefore I can predict where I can set my camera up. Now that's especially useful when you don't have enough time to pre-plan or do pre-production on your particular assignment. There have been times when I'd arrive on location at night and I had to do a quickie sunrise, and I needed a compass to determine which way the sun is going to rise the following morning. So the compass is a really essential item to me, and it's all in here in my pocket survival kit. And along with the pocket survival kit, I take with me some sort of high visibility cloth. Now, on the offhand chance that I get lost in the mountains and needed to be found, at least I have some high visibility cloth on me to signal people. That's part of the pocket survival kit, which I carry in my camera bag, or nowadays I just carry in my EDC bag. Now, those are just a few items that I carry absolutely every day. And I've been into this kind of lifestyle since the early 1980s. It's very rare to find a photojournalist these days who doesn't carry a Swiss Army knife or some sort of a flashlight. And those two things were the basic items that we had back in the day, and they're still usable up to this day. We still carry them with us. If you're not conscious about it, if you're not aware of the EDC or the everyday carry concept, I hope this video starts you out in your EDC journey. I'm hoping that you'll discover how useful these items really are, especially when you're out in the field, or even a filmmaker who finds himself on location most of the time. You'd realize how handy having a knife would be, or having that extra metal cup for that coffee break right in the middle of nowhere and there's hardly any paper cups available. So you'll find a lot of uses for the items that you carry in your pockets and in your bag, in addition to your photographic gear. And I hope you liked this video. If you do, please smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. If you're feeling generous, click on the QR code at the end of this video. And that's all for now. This has been Direct Abs, otherwise known as the Shuttermaniac. Make serendipity happen.